Welcome, children. Civics, chapter number 7, Understanding Marginalization. Introduction. Equality is a right and value that every citizen of India is entitled to. Even the Constitution of India lists the right to equality as one of the fundamental rights. It's also a vital element for the functioning of democracy in India. In this chapter, the students will get to know about the different ways through which inequality affects the common people and communities. This chapter introduces marginalization, which also means exclusion from the mainstream. What does it mean to be socially marginalized? If the community is marginalized, it means that it has been forced to occupy on the sides and peripheries and thus is not at the center of things. Many times, people belonging to different social communities feel excluded from the whole society. So often, a person ends up feeling that he is not with it, as if what you say, feel, and think and how you act are not quite right or acceptable to others. The reason for this marginalization could be that they belong to different caste or religion or speak different languages. Other reasons of getting marginalized could be poor status, different religion, low caste, etc. Economic, social, cultural, and political factors work together to make certain groups in the society feel marginalized. At times, these marginalized sections of society are treated with hostility and fear. Due to this, such sections do not have access to useful resources and are unable to take a stand in the society. They are also unable to assert their basic rights. Due to this, they are filled with a sense of powerlessness. Since they are being marginalized, these groups are unable to take against those communities which are dominant, wealthy, politically powerful, and own land. Therefore, different spheres led to marginalization. Let's take a look at a socially marginalized Adivasi family. There's a story given in your textbook. You can read and can understand what this story says about it. Adivasis. Who are Adivasis? The term Adivasi means original inhabitants. These are the communities who have lived in forest or have been in association with the forest. They constitute approximately 8% of the Indian population. Few of the most important industrial centers and mining areas are located in the Adivasis areas. These areas are Rourkela, Bokaro, Jamshedpur, Bhilai, etc. India has more than 500 different Adivasi groups. They are not homogeneous. That means they are not of the same kind or nature. Population. Adivasis are prominent in states such as Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Assam, Nagaland, Manipur, and Tripura. Odisha is home to more than 60 different tribal groups. Adivasi society have very little hierarchy among. Due to this, these societies are very distinct. Due to this feature, they are radically different from those communities who believe in caste. They practice their own tribal religions, which is completely different from other religions prevalent in society, such as Hinduism, Sikhism, Christianity, etc. They worship their ancestors, nature, and village spirits, etc. They worship village spirits at sacred groves present in the village or in the homes. Several surrounding religions such as Vaishnav, Shakta, Bhakti, etc. Apart from that, the Adivasi religions have also influenced the prevailing religions that exist around them. This includes Tantric and Shakti tradition in Assam and West Bengal, Puri's Jagannath cult, etc. Meanwhile, in the 19th century, several Adivasi communities have converted to Christianity, which has emerged as a very important religion in the modern Adivasi history. Adivasis have their own languages. Few of these languages are as old as Sanskrit and have influenced several regional languages such as Bengali. Among these Adivasi languages, Santali is the most spoken one in India. It also has its own body of publication and online portals dedicated to it. Adivas are also referred as tribals. The government of India uses the term scheduled tribes to refer to the Adivasis uh, in their official documents. The government also has an official list of these tribes. They are often grouped together in categories with scheduled caste uh, under the term scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Adivasis and stereotype. In India, the Adivasis are showcased in a particular way. During official events such as Republic Day or school programs or in movies, the Adivasis are portrayed as people with colorful costumes, headgears, and having different dance forms. Apart from that, the common people are unaware of their lives. Due to this, they believe that the Adivasis are backward, exotic, and primitive. Common people believe that the Adivasis are resistant to new changes or ideas. Due to this, these groups often lack advancement. If stereotyping against Adivasi continues, it also leads to discrimination. Adivasis and development. Since ancient times, the forests have been and important for the development of different empires and civilizations in India. Animal products such as wax, honey, lac, animals such as elephants for armies, invaluable timber, metal ores such as gold, silver, coal, diamond, copper, all this come from this forest. Apart from that, in order to continue life, the mainstream population has to depend on forest. It helps to recharge the rivers passing through the areas and provides clear air and water as well. Until the 19th century, forest covered a major portion of India. Until then, the Adivasis had direct access, deep knowledge, and a major control over the vast tract of the forest. These areas controlled by any kingdom or government until then. Instead, the earlier kingdoms were directly dependent on these Adivasis of forest in order to get access to certain resources. Nowadays, the Adivasis mainly have an image as the marginal and powerless communities. And during the British rule, they were the traditional hunters, gatherers, and nomads. They lived by cultivating at one place or even practiced shifting agriculture. In the last 200 years, the Adivasis have been forced to live as construction laborers, plantation workers, or join industries. The government achieved this by enforcing forest policies, economic changes, and applied political forces to achieve this. It was for the first time in history that these Adivasis had no control over their own land. Since 1930, the Adivasis from Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and adjoining area started moving in huge numbers to plantations located in India and other countries such as Mauritius, the Caribbean, and even Australia. The tea estates in Assam thrived because of this reason. Due to this, the state has over 70 lakh tribals. The event regarding the tribals migration is full of extreme torture, hardships, and death. In order to get land for setting up industries and agriculture, the government has ordered to clear the forest land for timber, and many times Adivasis have continued to reside in these areas, which is rich in minerals and other natural resources. The government has taken over this area for mining and set up industries. The political forces have often harassed these tribals in order to evacuate them from the tribal land. Most of the times, while the government has taken away these lands forcefully, they do not follow the required procedure. The official figures state that more than 50% of the people who were displaced until now due to mining projects include tribals, Another survey states that around 79% of people displaced from Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Odisha are tribals, and due to this, the building of dams, huge tracts of tribal lands have also gone under the water. Also, the lands are militarized in the northeast. Currently, our country has 104 national parks that covers a total area of 4501 square kilometer, and there are 453 wildlife sanctuaries that cover 118,918 square kilometer. In these areas, tribes resided originally but were forced to get evicted. When they continue to reside in this area, they are termed as encroachers. When these tribals are evicted, they not only lose their livelihood but also their traditions and custom, which is their main identity. As the tribes lose access to forest along with the lands, they also end up losing main sources of livelihood and food. Due to this, they migrated to the cities for work, where they get low wages as construction sites or industry. And due to this, they are caught in the cycle of deprivation and poverty. 35% of tribals in the urban areas and 45% tribes in the rural areas live under below poverty line. Due to this, there is deprivation in other areas. Many tribal kids are malnourished. Illiteracy is prevalent among them. Social and economic dimensions of a tribal life are interconnected to each other. Destruction in one sphere is bound to impact the other in some way or the other. The process of displacement and dispossession is often violent as well as painful. Minorities and marginalization. The Constitution of India provides safeguards to linguistic and religious minority as a part of fundamental rights. It is used to refer to those communities whose numbers are smaller as compared to the rest of the population. It encompasses access to resources, power, issues, and has culture and social dimension. You have studied earlier that the Constitution of India recognizes majority of culture influences in which a government and society may influence themselves. Due to this, the site would be disadvantaged and led to the marginalization of a community small in size. This law protects against any discrimination or disadvantage a minority community could face. As the minorities have less population, the rest of the society may feel insecure about their living beings, lives, or assets. If the relation between majority and minority community are fraught, a sense of insecurity may get accentuated. The Constitution is committed to protect cultural diversity in India and promote justice and inequality. A citizen of India is free to approach the court if he or she feels her rights have been violated or encroached. Muslims and marginalization. As per 2011 census, the Muslims constitute 14.2% of total Indian population. As compared to other communities, it is considered as a marginalized community, and as compared to other communities, it is deprived of various socio-economic development. The following table depicts different regions having access to basic amenities according to 2007-2008 data. That is, religious community are Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikhs, and the Pakka house. Hindus have 65.4 and electricity facility 75.2 and tap water 43.7%. Muslims Pakka house 63.8, electricity 67.5 and tap water 35.8, and Christians 69.3, 86.2, 48.0 tap water facility and Sikhs 91.3 Pakka houses and electricity 96.0 and tap water is 49.3%. Following table depicts literary rates according to religion. That is, it's categorized into Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Sikh, Buddhist, and Jain. Now they are all are of 65%. Out of that, Hindu are 65%, then Muslims are 59%, Christians 80%, Sikhs 70%, Buddhists 73%, and Jains are 94%. Basic amenities, that is the public employment of Muslim percent population. IA population is total is 13.5%. IAS among that is 3%. IPS 4, IFS 1.8, PSU 3.3, state PSU 10.8, and banks and RBI 2.2%. The government recognized this fact that the Muslims were lagging in terms of various development indicators. Considering this situation, it constituted a high level committee which was chaired by Justice Rajendra Sachar. It examined economic, educational, and social status of Muslims in our country. The committee discusses marginalization of Muslim communities in detail. It states that on a range of economic, social, and educational indicators, Muslim communities' situation is comparable to that of the other marginalized communities such as SCs and STs, for example. The report states that the average schooling of Muslim children between the age of 7 and 16 is low as compared to other communities. Muslim experiences social and economic marginalization in other ways as well. As compared to the other cultures, Muslim practices and cultures are dominant. They are distinct from what you see in the mainstream. One may see Muslim women wearing burqas, man having long beard, wearing fez, and this becomes way of identity all among the Muslims. Due to this, many people tend to think they are not one of us. This becomes an excuse for discrimination. Many Muslims families find it hard to get a house. They even have to face violence. Marginalization is a complex phenomenon that needs a variety of measures, strategy, and safeguards to redress such situations. All of us need to protect the diversity in India that makes our country unique. Conclusion. This chapter well explains what does it mean to a marginalized community in India. There are different reasons why a particular community gets marginalized. They experience powerlessness, prejudice, and disadvantage at several levels. Thank you.